Hello, everybody. Hi, how are you doing? If you're watching on the replay, please pop replay into the comments. I'm just going to do the quick usual. I need to check I'm live in the right place and the sound's working, and then we'll get going. Because last time
Please pop replay into the comments.
So I'm live on the Community Judge page. That's good. Last time I somehow got started and wasn't live in one of the places I wanted to be. But it looks like I am live in both places, so that's excellent news. And there's a couple of people watching, so do say hi when you join. Let me just get my notes up. I've got a lot to get through today. Let's get my notes up. Fabulous. So, hi, Facebook user. So, if you're watching live, don't worry about this if you're watching this on the replay. But if you're watching live, then we're using a piece of stream software called StreamYard, and you'll need to give StreamYard permission to see your name. So all you need to do is click on the link, which I think one of my team's going to pop into the comments, streamyard.com/Facebook, and just give StreamYard permission to see your name. Hi, oh, it is Rada. Hi, Rada, how you doing? So if you're on the replay, don't worry about that because I won't be able to see your name anyway. So for those of you who don't know me, I am Kimber, as it says here. I'm your gamification guide, as I'm now calling myself. I'm a gamification specialist, basically, but gamification guide sounds better, doesn't it? And that's what I do, guide you to use gamification better. So this particular live is part of a live series explaining what gamification is and diving deeper into the topic. If you missed last week's live, I talked about what gamification is. And you can still watch that one on the replay if you're like, I don't actually know what gamification is. You need to watch that first. So I think my team's going to pop a link in the comments. If you want to go and watch that one, you can. So I talked about what gamification is and why it can be a game changer for your business, basically. Today, oh, there's loads of you. Hello, everybody. So today I'm going to be talking about using gamification to increase your online sales conversions, because I'm sure somebody famous once says if you don't have sales, then you don't have a business. If you don't make sales, you don't have a business. But over the next few weeks, we've got more lives coming. So I'm going to quickly talk you through what those are, and then we'll get straight into it. So next Thursday, the 25th of November at midday UK time, I'll be talking about how gamification can be used as a tool to increase engagement in your social media posts, memberships, challenges, and online courses. At 2 p.m. on Wednesday, the 1st of December, UK time, I'll be sharing some common myths around gamification. And on Tuesday, the 7th of December, midday UK time, I'll be sharing how some companies are using gamification for evil and why so many think that gamification is actually just a manipulation tool, and how we use it differently because we focus on ethical gamification. And it's only today, as I was refining the notes for this live, that I realized that that's what we do. We do ethical gamification, which is quite cool. So if you want a reminder when we go live for any of those, if you comment live on this video, if you're watching on the Facebook page, our handy Facebook bot will automatically give you a menu to choose from so you can decide which ones you want to watch live. If you're watching anywhere else, the team will see you comment the word live and they will give you the link to sign up for the bot so that you can get that those reminders as well. So please do pop the word live into the comments if you're interested in any of those. Okay, so, I think you have to do it without the hashtag, actually. I'm not sure who's just added it in there with a hashtag, but I think it's just live, the word live on its own. I'm not sure the bot will work if you put a hashtag in front of it. All right, so time to get on with it, shall we? We are going to be talking today about using gamification to increase your online sales conversion. So I'm going to be focusing on social media marketing, online courses, challenges, and memberships, but I'm going to throw in a couple of other examples as well. What I'm going to do first is talk through 5 points on the how and the why, and then I'm going to talk about 5 tools and concepts that you can use for implementing as well, because I know that people don't want to come to these sessions and just hear about the how, the why rather, and then not the how. So number 1 in our first section, which covers 5 things. There we go. Number 1 is personalization and segmentation is not just for emails. So for those of you who don't know what personalization and segmentation is, I'm going to give you an example from when I worked for a train company. So Arriva Trains Wales, which I don't think exists anymore because they now that contract is now run by Transport for Wales. Anyway, I used to be their marketing manager, and when I managed their emails, we managed hundreds of thousands of emails. Like, so many people were on that list because they were all interested in getting updates about what was happening with the trains in Wales. But the Arriva Trains Wales contract also covered Chester, Birmingham, like all of the border towns. So we used segmentation and personalization in our emails to make sure that if there was any delays or any like if there were going to be fewer trains or if there was going to be work happening on the rails, that we only sent emails to the right people. So we would segment by postcode, for example. So we knew where our customers were based, and we would only send them an email about, I don't know, roadworks in Barry if they were going train works in Barry if there was going to be train works. And it's something that you should be doing in your business as well. So rather than just sending the same email to everybody on your list, you should be thinking about who needs to see what and sending them things accordingly. Now, this is something that people are more accustomed to when it comes to emails. They see it all the time. So, for example, if I was running... I don't know, if I was still running my challenges about Instagram and there was a portion of my audience who were only on there because they wanted to know about passive income, then I wouldn't send them the emails about Instagram. It's a very straightforward concept. But people aren't doing it so much in other areas of their business. So people aren't all the same. They don't all want the same things. And I don't know if you remember this song from Groove Armada. It had the lyrics, so I'm actually going to sing. I can't believe I'm going to do this. Why am I doing this? Everybody looked the same. We'd get tired of looking at each other. That was terrible, but still, you get the point, right? So the point is, it's the same with how we are as to how we look. We're not all the same. If we were all the same, life would be boring. The world would be boring. What this means is that if you run your course, if you run your... Oh, there's issues. Let me check with my team if there's any issues. If there are, if Paula can send me a message. If not, it might be a case of coming out and coming back in again. Anyway, so that's what I was saying. So for those of you who came here for the singing, that was a bit of gamification, but I'll come back to that in a second. That was all you're getting, by the way, those 2 lines. Can't believe I actually did that. Okay, so apparently it's working fine. So it's just you that's having issues. All right. So if you run your courses, if you run your memberships, if you run your challenges, if you do your social media in exactly the same way for everybody, it's not going to work as well as if you do it in a way that is segmented for the different types of people. So I've put here, this means that everyone coming into our courses, memberships, challenges, social media accounts wants different things. They need different things. They have different goals. And whilst you might have done an amazing job, an excellent job of putting together your ideal client avatar and attracting that perfect person into your business, into your life, you might have created a community of yoga-loving mums or a community of bakers from Bath. But just because they're unified by a couple of things doesn't mean that they have the same aspirations. It doesn't mean that they are the same type of person. It doesn't mean they want the same things out of life. It doesn't mean that they're on your course or in your membership for the same reasons. They still have different player types, okay? Now, there are different player types, and I'm not going to go into different player types today. That's something that I work through with my one-to-one clients, and it's something that I will teach on any courses that I run in the future. But there's too much to go into that now today. But essentially, you can use gamification to upgrade your course, to upgrade your memberships, to upgrade your challenges, to cater for the different player types, to cater for the different personalities. So you can create a range of different social media games, a range of gamified posts as well that cater for different types of player types. So it's not just for courses and memberships. It's about always thinking, what do people actually want to get out of this? And the next thing I said is by simply splitting your players up and catering to them directly, you are going to make considerably more sales because you're specifically speaking to their issues and needs, plural. So that's the first one, personalization and segmentation. Number 2, improved engagement rates. So gamification is an incredible tool for improving engagement rates. You can use it to improve engagement rates on lots of things, your live videos, your social media posts, your courses, your challenges, your memberships, your email campaigns, and loads more. But more engagement doesn't necessarily lead to increased conversions. And you might not be expecting me to say that because, oftentimes people say more engagement will lead to sales. It doesn't necessarily always do that unless you do it right. So what here, someone could be engaging with your social media post or your challenge because they find it fun. But if you don't use the right gamification tools and the right personalization, as mentioned before, they might fall off a cliff edge when it comes to buying. You might not be providing them with the thing that they actually need or that they want. You might have just been gamifying for fun, which means they might not actually buy, which is no so good. So using gamification correctly is an art. It's not just about throwing tools at something and hoping for the best, throwing some concepts at something and hoping for the best. You have to really be smart about how you implement this. The other thing that you need to think about is the sunk cost fallacy. I love this concept. It's something that I keep coming back to over and over again. So for those of you who don't know what the sunk cost fallacy is, it is the idea that if you put in a certain amount of time or a certain amount of effort or a certain amount of money into something, there will be a point at which you won't stop doing that thing because you've already put so much into it already. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples because I know that that's not a great explanation. So let's say you're gambling. Let's say you're at the horse races. The sunk cost fallacy is where you keep betting even though you're losing because you feel like you've put so much money in, you're going to win if you keep betting. Or if you're waiting for a bus. Okay, this is the one. If you're waiting for the bus and it gets delayed by a couple of minutes, and then it gets delayed by a couple more minutes, and then it gets delayed by a couple of more minutes. If you had started walking when the time first changed, you would be there by now. But you feel like you'll be better off waiting because you've already sunk so much time into it. You feel like it'll be here any minute because I've already waited this much time, so it'll be here soon. It doesn't actually make mental sense, but it is what your brain automatically will do. And it is exactly the same as gamification. By encouraging people to interact and engage with your brand on socials, in your challenges, on your online events, they will get to know you. They might get to like you and trust you. I can't guarantee those parts, but they might do. They will feel like they've made a connection with you and your brand, and that time that they've invested in engaging with you, wherever it is a sunk cost. To go somewhere else at that point, to work with somebody else, is going to feel like they are starting from scratch. So using gamification tools is going to increase that kind of sunk cost feeling. The next one is to stop the scroll. So this is all within increased engagement, but that's stopping the scroll. So there is a lot of noise online. We hear that a lot. So how do you stand out for the crowd? It feels like a cliche because I hear it so much. If you keep doing what everyone else is doing, you're not going to achieve better results. But by gamifying your marketing, you are A, doing something different to everybody else, and therefore standing out from the crowd, giving people a reason to stop scrolling. And B, you are creating interactive content. So here's a stat for you on this. 81% of marketers believe interactive content is more attention grabbing than its static counterparts. Let me read that again. 81% of marketers believe that interactive content you can interact with, is more attention grabbing than its static counterpart. So if you want to know how to use gamification in your Instagram stories, for example, or stories anywhere, we've created some social media templates that you can use. We have created 30 different templates in Canva. It's just $17.99, which is less than 60p per template. They will help you to increase your engagement, which could lead to sales if used right. I'm not giving you a blanket on that, and I've already discussed why. We've had people increase their engagement by over 25% in a week by just using these. And yesterday, someone contacted me to tell me that they have been using our gamification methods and they made a £300 sale with just one post. So If you want information on that, I'm sure there's links somewhere in the comments. Number 3, the win-win. So the whole idea of ethical gamification is that you create an environment, a program, a course, a membership, whatever it is, which allows you as the business owner to get what you want, but also considers what your players want. So that might be your audience if you're on social media, it might be your course participants or your members in your membership. It considers what your players want and it enables them to achieve it. It doesn't just enable them to, it encourages them, it helps them to, it guides them to achieve what they want to achieve. If you're giving your players what they want or need, they are more likely to buy from you. It's a simple marketing concept that gamification can help you to skyrocket the effectiveness of. Do not assume that you know what they want. Find out and use that information. Okay, number 4, improved customer loyalty, more testimonials and more sales down the line. So studies have shown that acquiring new clients is 5 times more expensive than keeping existing ones. So going back to the sunk cost fallacy, the win-win and personalization, if you can keep your players engaged and help them to achieve what they want to achieve, they are going to love you forever. Happy customers provide, excuse me, I'll take a sip of my coffee, talking nonstop for a little bit, huh? Happy customers provide fantastic testimonials, which you can use in your marketing. Happy customers tell their friends to buy from you. Happy customers buy more things from you. Gamification can help you to achieve all of that. And then finally in this section is data. Using gamification can entice more people to complete your market research and to complete your freebies, which gives you data. It gives you information about them, about their choices, about who they are, what they like, all that kind of stuff. The more data you have, the more accurate your marketing will be, which is going to help you to get more sales. It's pretty simple. All right, so I've been talking for a little while now. Can you give me in the comments a one-word response to what I've said so far? Once I've seen a couple of those, I will move on to the next section, which is all about 5 tools and concepts you can use to implement this. I'll be interested to hear what you think of what I've discussed so far, because some of it's slightly different from what I've talked about in the previous live. I know there's going to be a bit of delay. It's always a bit of delay. Let's have a look, shall we? Oh, Vic says the templates are amazing. Thanks. So for those of you who are interested in the templates, they are Canva templates, but what I've done is we put together a PDF with like how to make the best of them and a video instructions on how to use them as well. And you can change them to your brand colors. You can make them bespoke as much as you want. Oh, Vic says intriguing. That's a great word. I wonder if we'll get any more. I might go on to the next section actually, rather than just sitting here waiting for you guys to give me some more comments. So let's move on to the next section, shall we? So tools and concepts you can use to implement this. So number 1 is quizzes. So you can use quizzes as freebies to segment your audience and learn more from them from the very beginning. So the idea is you provide them with a quiz to find out X, Y, and Z. At the end of it, they get a report which tells them what kind of whatever they are. And you can then create email sequences off the back of that. So if they fall into this category, they get this email sequence. If they fall into this category, they get this email sequence. If they fall into this category, and so on. And it means that they are designed for their type of person. And it is completely personalized to them. So it goes back to the segmentation and the personalization that I was talking about earlier. So if you want to see an example of this done well, even if I do say so myself, you can do our quiz, which is going to go in the comments. Now, I'm in a different place to normal today. So I don't want to risk showing my screen on here because I've never done it with only one screen before. Normally I have multiple screens. So I'm going to show you what this looks like on my phone for a change. So our quiz, if you go on your phone, looks like this. Have you ever wondered if you could get better results from your courses, challenges, and social media? Find out in 3 minutes what exactly gamification is and how it can solve the challenges you face in your business. So you can just click start and just tap through the answers. But at the end, you get a report, which kind of looks like that. That's it's not the best graphic, which talks you through things that are relevant for the answers that you're given. So you can have a look at that if you want to, if you're intrigued in any way. What's like the old Instagram days again? I don't understand. Number 2, FOMO, fear of missing out. This is a huge gamification tool and concept. People use it and they don't even realize that it's gamification. Seeing lots of other people signing up to something and not wanting to miss out is a big motivator. It's a massive motivator. You've almost certainly seen me use this in my marketing. So you'll have seen posts that say things like, over 1,000 people have signed up for my free challenge. Click the link to find out more. Or Sarah has just signed up to my course. That makes 20 people now. Will you be joining them? FOMO, the fear of missing out, is a psychology concept. And gamification borrows a lot of things from psychology. It is simple, but it is effective. Oh, using demos on the phone. Yeah. That is still something I do. Is what it is. All right. Next one, scarcity. I think I've talked about this in every gamification live I've done so far. The concept of scarcity is quite straightforward. It is telling somebody that they should sign up for something because there are only so many hours left, or there are only so many places left. Again, very straightforward, very effective. Number 4, rewards. This is a classic gamification technique. In fact, a lot of people, when they talk about gamification, the first thing they talk about is rewards. If I do X, Y, and Z, I'll get a reward. If my customers do X, Y, and Z, they'll get a reward. And they think that's all gamification is, but there's so much more to it than that. Anyway, the key thing with rewards, not everyone finds the same thing rewarding. Honestly, they don't. Thinking about personalization again, not everyone wants to win a bottle of wine. Not everyone wants to win a spa break. Not everyone wants to win a stack of books. Think about your different player types and create a system of rewards that reflects the types of players in your audience, in your course, in your membership, in your challenge, whatever it is. When working with one-to-one clients, we do a player type survey of their audience, and we create a complete concept that reflects those different player types. Now, if any of you are here live or on the replay, because I earlier on posted on Instagram and on Facebook to say that I would be singing on this live, I said, oh my gosh, I've just doing the final touches to this live, and I've added in a part where I'm singing. So if you want to see me singing, you need to come to this live. So some people will have come to this live just to get the reward of seeing me singing so that they can laugh at me. Some people will have come to this live because they want to learn about gamification. Some people will have come to this live because they want to support my new thing. Some people will have come to this live because they want to learn about increasing sales conversions. So those are all different types of rewards that people will get from coming to this, and those are all different types of rewards for different types of people. So really think about how you can be providing different types of rewards for the different types of people. That is one of many gamification techniques. And Vic would rather win brownies. We all know that, Vic, or something Percy Pig, right? Katrina, I saw that Instagram stories about you singing. Exactly. So you might not have bothered to turn up to this live if you didn't see that I was going to sing. So when you did see the singing, you'd be like, oh my gosh, okay. But I got it over with pretty quickly because I didn't actually want to sing. Excuse me. But people might have dropped off after that point because they only came to see the singing. So if I was smart, I would have left at the end. But I thought, you know what, I'm just going to get it over and done with. So I left it at the beginning because that's where it was originally. Anyway, next, the final one in this section is novelty. This kind of links back to stop the scroll in the last section. If people are bored of seeing the same thing all the time in your course, in your membership, in your social media posts, if you always do the same stuff, in your challenges as everybody else, or just as yourself, if you've been doing the same thing for 18 months, over time, your engagement is going to go down. Now, I hear this all the time, my engagement's gone down and I'm not doing anything differently. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe you need to do something differently. Maybe you need to inject some novelty into what you are doing. Mix things up, do something different, add in an element of surprise, and see your engagement go straight back up again. Now, it's not going to work every time. It's not going to hit the mark every time, but adding in some novelty is definitely going to increase engagement in pretty much everything that you do. And gamification is really, really good for this. All right, that's just a handful of tools and concepts. There are literally hundreds for each of the different player types. This is why we work on a bespoke basis, one-to-one, to create a completely unique concept for our clients, because their businesses and their audience is completely unique. I hope you found that useful. If you have and happened to run a community or a podcast that could benefit from learning about the gamification of courses, memberships, affiliate launches, challenge launches, or even to get more engagement in their social media posts, why not invite me to speak in your group or on your podcast as a guest expert? There will be a link in the comments for you to have a look at that if you like. And if you'd like to find more about gamification, there are a series of lives coming up over the next few weeks. And if you comment live, we'll send you the info to sign up to our handy bot reminders. So that's it from me, really. I just want to say thank you so much for bearing with me till the end. I am excited about the other sessions we've got coming up, and I'll be back in my normal location for that next week. So I'll have my normal setup, which means that I might be able to share some things to the screen rather than having to show you on my phone. But do you know what? It worked, so it's fine. And thank you for being so engaged. Really, really appreciate it. I'll see you all soon. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for watching. Bye.